disgusts me as Prime Minister. I'm embarrassed. I really am embarrassed with his leadership abilities, and he blames everyone else but himself.
That's my style. I hope you've noticed that.
Good to see you as always. Thanks for joining us. How would you describe the visit by the Chinese Premier and his delegation?
It's an absolute disgrace. Get rid of them. I think it's disgusting in a country like Australia, what they did to Cheng Li in that press conference that was held there. And I'm more disgusted with our Prime Minister. Albanese is the most pathetic, gutless Prime Minister I have ever known. And I actually am so angry with him in the leadership role of this nation that I cringe when I see him.
Everyone hates me.
I cringe for the future of this nation. I cringe when I see him. He's no leader. He absolutely disgusts me with his answers to these questions. As you said last night, you can't bribe people to like you. You need to earn their support. And to do that, you need to address the cost of living. You need to mend our economy, not flood it with migrants just for the illusion of economic growth. But most of all, you need to make sure Chris Bowen never opens his mouth.
Every time Chris Bowen opens his mouth, he makes it worse. Sorry, Albo.
He's got all these advisors. He should have known, and he would have known what happened during that conference. He hasn't got the backbone, as Peter Dutton said.
My policy will actually allow the same unsustainable amount of migrants, just under a different class of visa.
Vote One Nation if you want to get rid of these fools.
He hasn't got a backbone. He hasn't stood up to them. He's had more than 24 hours to make a comment to the President himself, and I'd like to hear it personally from him, what was said to the President. Not officials have taken it up with the President that's out here from China. You know, China is no friends of ours. We trade with them. But we actually we trade with Coles and Woolworths. They're not our friends. China will never be our friends.
And I welcome Premier Lee's offer of new pandas, who I am sure will be good diplomats for China in South Australia and for the entire nation.
Our only hope is the Dragon Warrior.
The panda?
That's the panda. Am I? Are you?
And I'm sick of this Labor Party, this Labor government, kowtowing to the Chinese every time he opens his mouth. I cringe. These aren't friends of ours, of how they dealt with our divers, with the helicopter, with the closing of the sea, that you can't go in their waters. We have just kowtowed to them so much, and it sickens me to see this Prime Minister. He is so weak, lily-livered Prime Minister that doesn't answer the people, and he kowtows them all the time. It sickens me.
We have a lot to do and a lot to look forward to.
And I hope the people throw him out at the next election.
A lot to look forward to.
Relations are at a level where they haven't been in years, but as you said,
he's a gutless wonder.
There have been so many issues, particularly over the last 12 months, and we've got a situation where it just feels like China has Labor
eating shit
over a barrel, and you've got the Prime Minister saying that the incident with Cheng Li was
an absolute scam.
Clumsy. That was all he could come up with.
Get stuffed loser.
How about that? How about that? Look at the Belt and Roads, what Daniel Andrews wanted to do with it.
When you travel to China, I just want to be really clear about this. You don't get to interview any of the people that I would meet with. That's
corruption.
Yeah, with them, it was the coalition that stepped in there. We passed it in Parliament. They couldn't just, take over and do these deals with China. As I said, China is in a situation, they're the most, growing, most powerful country within the world. And we are, just at their doorstep. I don't trust the Chinese, not one bit.
Trust is something that needs to be earned. But once it's lost, I intend to do just that. It's very hard to get it back.
Matthew chapter 7, beginning in verse 15, Jesus continues the Sermon on the Mount, and he says, "Beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they're ravenous wolves. You will know them by their fruits."
I don't know who put that together, but we salute you. Very well done.
Look what they're doing to the Pacific Islands. They are no friends of ours. And when I see our Prime Minister, who doesn't stand up for Cheng Li and what she's been through over there, it disgusts me. He disgusts me as Prime Minister. I'm embarrassed. I really am embarrassed with his leadership abilities, and he blames everyone else but himself. You know, stand up, Anthony, okay? Stand up, Elbow. Right, speak up to the Australian people. You talk to the President, not your officials. You stand up for the Australian people.
Yes.
Our politicians are gutless, absolutely gutless.
And we need a better government.